Today we've got two types of pancakes for breakfast. I know I've shown my favorite sourdough pancake recipe, but a lot of times I'll want to do like a plain buttermilk or a corn cake. And I really like to do them both together, a buttermilk and a corn cake, to have the two different types at once. So let's get into the kitchen and get to work. 1 cup of cornmeal, tablespoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm using half a cup of heavy cream mixed with half a cup of buttermilk at room temperature. Mix up the dry ingredients and about 2 teaspoons of butter. I'm just going to nuke that a little bit to get the butter melted. 1 egg, and mix that up. And then mix in the milk and butter. Now my recipe usually uses two eggs. I'm using 1 egg, and then I'm whipping 2 egg whites to stiff peaks, because I prefer to do it that way. Make them a little lighter. I don't use it, but you can add a little bit of cream of tartar to egg whites to help when you're whipping them. I just use a lot more arm muscle to get it where I want it. See, those guys are getting there. So I'm going to add some of the batter into that and whisk it up. And then I'm just going to fold the egg whites into the batter. There we go. Nice light corn cake batter. Now the buttermilk cakes. So I've got 1 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of sugar, teaspoon of kosher salt, teaspoon of baking powder, teaspoon of baking soda, and then I'll mix up the dry ingredients. Cup of buttermilk, about a teaspoon of vanilla, 1 egg, and whisk that up. Don't want to overmix this, but try and get everything incorporated. And this seems a little dry, so I'm going to add about a 1/4 cup more of buttermilk. And then about a 1/4 cup of oil. And give that a final mix. And then we'll let this rest a bit before we cook it. Then I'll get my trusty grill pan heating up. A little bit of oil. And I'm just going to spoon my buttermilk cakes on. Spread it around to get a nice round cake. And then my corn cakes. It's kind of hard to see on there, but you get nice little bubbles popping on the surface of the pancakes when they're ready to be flipped. Those guys look really good. There we go. I like to serve these with butter and either whipped cream with maple and vanilla, or some infused maple syrup with fig and cinnamon sticks in it. So those are the pancakes. It's a basic buttermilk pancake recipe, but I love how fluffy and light they cook up. On the corn cakes, it's a good southern corn cake recipe. It's really good topped with some maple. I really like to do fig and cinnamon infused maple syrup, and it's really nice with a real whipped cream with like some maple and vanilla flavor in it. Also on the corn cakes, I like to go really southern and not put any sweetener in it, or if I do, just very little sugar. And the other thing is I try to go for full corn flavor, so I don't put any flour. I just use straight cornmeal. And on the cinnamon fig infused maple syrup, I just take some fig pieces chopped up and some whole cinnamon sticks and heat them in a saucepan with some maple syrup. Both of these pancakes work really well whipped up the night before and let set overnight until you're ready to work them the next morning. So I hope you give them a try. Until next time, thanks for watching.